Welcome to All About Money on HKIBC. I'm Chloe Feng. Pets have become increasingly popular in Hong Kong. Although living conditions are cramped, the number of households with pets has grown substantially in the past decade. And this has led to more outlets offering supplies and various of care services. As more and more the so-called pet parents are also willing to spend increasing amounts of money on the health and well-being of their animal companions. Research firms say Hong Kong has the highest pet per capita spending in the Asia-Pacific region. But is it true? And just how powerful is the pet industry in the city? We're joined by Joy Lee, founder of Petahoot, which is a one-stop pet information platform to discuss the city's booming pet economy. So welcome, Joy. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Firstly, can you just run us through about your platform? So what exactly is Petahoot and what kind of main services do you offer?
Sure. So actually, I think most of the startups are like this. So you struggle with a problem, so you're solving with a solution.
Yeah.
So basically, 2019, I start fostering pets. I never really grew up with pets. And then I start fostering dogs, and then eventually it was really a foster fail story. So I kept the dog with me, so I adopted him. And then I struggle with so many information around the internet. I find that, it's actually very difficult to look for the right information. As a first-time pet owner, I feel like, I don't know what to feed him, where to take him to see doctors. And then I was asking people around me, and then actually, then so many new pet owners are struggling with very similar questions.
Like people who are encountering the same issues with you.
Yeah, actually, a lot of them, they're having similar struggles. And the reason why I see that, you can always turn to websites, turn to Instagram, Google to find for information. But it's some of the things that you can see that you see opening hours on some pages. Some of them you see photos, but not the contact details. And worst of all is you cannot really see what other pet owners feel about the place, because I think the value is about what other pet owners felt, and then we see the connection is the community. And this is how all it started. And then I started Petahoot. Petahoot means pets in the neighborhood. So we are trying to connect people in the same neighborhood. What we are trying to do is to improve the search capability. We are trying to simplify the pet caring journey and connect users in the same neighborhood.
So basically, you will provide various kind of informations about, for example, the pet activities or where to source the pet foods on the platform as well.
Yep.
But I mean, among all these kind of different kind of sectors, you also have past experience, for example, in the financial industry, and then you also have your own startup company, the dress rental platform as well. How did you end up in this pet industry? And is there any specific moment that you feel this could really work?
I think it's really about the passion in this industry, because I never really thought about quitting a corporate job, because but at that time I was thinking about if I'm doing a full-time job plus 2 startups, eventually everything will just fall apart because you don't really have enough time and resources.
Yep.
And then at that moment, I was thinking about, if I believe in this model, I believe in this passion, and I also have the capability with my experience that running e-commerce platform and cloud development. I think everything just put up together, and then it just pushed me through. Okay, I will just quit whatever I'm doing now and focus on my startup, because I believe in this, and I think it will shape to somebody an increasing number of pet owners here. I see the need and the demand in this market that I can have when this solution is up there, it will be solving problems for the market.
We'll talk more about the market size or the market trends later on. But before that, tell us, what is the business model and also the profit model for your platform?
Sure. So our platform is running as an advertising model, basically on our app and also through our social communication channels. But we are also growing the online channel as well, because we see that online demand, people shopping online, is also a trend as well. And then on top of that, we have a little bit different, because among our different type of members, we have our pet agents who are very socially active. So we see brands they are looking for.
Pet agents?
Yeah, pet agents. These are socially active pet owners. So we are connecting these people with the brands and doing different type of promotions. So we built a tools to connect these 2 dots together.
All right, just to jump in a very quick question. So you are building the online business platform, and you are also offering the information about various online shopping stores. how would you, for example, verify their operations to, make sure they're offering the legit or the right business or the services, so to also enhance your platform's credibility in some way?
So this is very to the point, because at the very beginning, the team has also been discussing on this part, because we see a growing number on pet business. So especially for online business as well, because they are taking up around, like, out of the 4,000 like business units that we have on our platform, 19% are actually online business. So we really have to do some validations. So every registered business on our platform, they have to have a valid business registration. And on top of that, if they have to also show that they're the proof of identity of their brand as well. So for some other categories, just like trainings, pet boarding, the requirement is actually even higher, because we are required to ask them for the license, because if they have the license and they show the validation on our platform. So these are the little thinking processes that we have, and you see the little paw is a verified merchant on our platform. It's every steps we have to be verified before showing on our platform here.
It's also quite crucial, because for every pet owner, like the pets are being considered as one of their very close member of the family as well. And also tell us, how many members do you have for now?
So we've launched for about 2 years. We have got 35,000 members, and about 500 merchants are on our platform now.
Do you see the growth is in line with your expectation, or like out of your expectation as well?
I think it was actually out of my expectation, because there are so many new pet owners in the recent years, especially during COVID. We can see that the pet ownership is actually rising. So the need of actually needing a platform, like looking for different places to go, looking for service, is actually quite high. And then the interactions between us and the pet agents is very high too, because there are so many socially active pet owners. Cats, dogs are actually willing to promote our platform, willing to speak about their experience, and which is really good, because we think this is a community that we can circulate around information there.
You mentioned about actually more people were having pets during COVID time. So there's a surge during that period of time as well. Maybe perhaps more people want to have some sort of companions as well.
Yeah.
But speaking of the overall market, just tell us, how big is the pet market in Hong Kong?
So in Hong Kong, there are around 250 families are actually having pets. In general, we are talking about 400,000 cats and dogs here. So there are actually quite a lot. And in those days, actually in the past few years, we see a growing number of cat owners as well. So you can see that the need of cats is actually a little bit smaller than dogs, because the time that you need to spend, the money you require, maybe a little bit less. And then we can talk about money later, because but we can see that in the past few years that the number of cat owners is blooming actually across, not just for Hong Kong, also for across Asia.
So more cats versus dogs.
Right. Yeah.
But you have dogs. But in general, are you a dog person or a cat person?
Okay, let me tell you a little bit things. So I have a dog, but now I just started fostering cats too. So I think it's a combination, because I think there's no really type of cat person or dog person, but it really every pet has a different personality for them too. So as long as it match, I think, and the time comes, and then so maybe you can eventually switch between the two too. Because looking at our database too, in the last year to this year, we can see that the pet owners who has there's a rise of number too on having 2 pets. So it's from 5% to 7%. So people are actually not just having 1 pet, they're actually having more. And then some of them, they're even, when we're looking at our database, some of the pet owners have over 10 pets in their accounts. So we can see that it's not about just growing for new pet owners, but same pet owners, they're increasing number of pets too.
Within the same households, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And why do you think people wanted to do that? Why more people are wanting to have pets? For example, during the COVID time, and now there's also a trend, maybe in the past, we're seeing more senior residents, they want to have pets as one of their companions. But now, one trend is more younger generations are also having the pets instead of having children, maybe because of the certain cost for raising child as well. But do you think, for example, in some way, the population change, or let's say the population decline, is somehow interrelated with the pet adoption level as well?
I think there's a mix of reason it's a combination of everything, but it's true that there's a shift of the society because people are talking about like they're focusing on their career, focusing on the marriage time is actually delaying, and these are all types of reasons that they are like they might be considering some other companion in the family. So pets is actually a good like emotional support to the family too.
And speaking of the latest trends you've seen in the markets, what are the popular activities for pet owners now? Like, what do they want more?
I think overall, the pet humanization is a phenomenon for across Asia. So people
Pet humanization.
Yeah, that's right. So people are actually treating pets like family. So you think about not just having the pet at home. Before, there used to be many stay-home pets, but now you're thinking about like what to do with them, and there are a variety of activities going on too. So talking about that, with also like people are actually willing to spend more on pets on different variety of stuff. And then we're also seeing a change that a lot of like pet industry are increasing in the number of pet-friendly locations across the city. So looking at like shopping malls, you never talk about like shopping malls having pets before, but now like traditional like malls, they are like for K11 Museum, like Lanham Palace, Lanham Place, like Megabox. These type of places never talk about like welcoming pets, but now they're pet-friendly malls. And this is a slightly change of needs because we see that pet families are actually increasing in the market, and there's a need of pet community. People are thinking about, oh, what do you do during the weekends? You have to take your pets out. Before you might have been, you see like kids going into malls, there are different kids zones, but now there are pet zones, pet park inside the shopping
Increasing
park.
spaces, basically. And also, if we're looking at the West Kowloon Cultural Park, there's also the government offered assistance to the pet owners as well. But still, Hong Kong, would you say Hong Kong is pet friendly? Because we still have the parks, for example, that are not allowed, like pets are not allowed to enter those parks, isn't it?
I think it's a journey. So over the last few years, there are so many things that increase. Looking at just what the government has been doing. So across the last few years, we have already increased the number of pet parks in Hong Kong. Now it's up to 170 already. So it's actually a progress. And then we have been also working with SPCA to talking about like shipcation. So taking dogs on a Star Ferry. You never thought about like you can take dogs on the Star Ferry before. But I think it's a journey. So everything goes into a little pace that there's a little push that making the city a little bit more pet friendly here.
All right, hold that thought, Joy. We'll take a short break for now, but coming up next, we'll have more discussions on the spending and why Hong Kongers are happy to spend more on their animal companions. So do stay tuned. Welcome back to All About Money on HKIBC. I'm Chloe Feng. Joining us today is Joy Lee, founder of Petahood, to discuss the city's pet economy. So welcome, Joy. Earlier, we have talked about, for example, why more people are wanting to have pets during the past year. And now I also want to focus more. Let's continue our discussion on the trends because we covered why there are more spaces for pets in different kind of shopping malls and zones. But then there's also various those kind of like pet care services. For example, the pet immigration, pet travel, pet insurance, and veterinary services. How do you see the current demand and supply? Would you say there's enough those sort of suppliers to cope with a surging demand as well?
It's a good question because many people are asking about this, and the service is getting a little bit different variety in the market. But then it's hard to say whether it's enough or not. But let me share with you a little bit of number that we find on our platform. So in Hong Kong, there are about like 185 like vets in the market, and then about 20 of them is actually 24 hours operating. So among all of them, around 41% is actually located in new territories, about 30% is actually located in Kowloon, 24% in like Hong Kong Island, and 4% in Island District. I would say that things are getting very scattered, and then there's a need of like the high-end service as well. And then sometimes it's really hard to book like specialists because the specialist number is actually quite limiting in Hong Kong. And there's also some growing demand on like reptiles and also exotic animals, which is the vet service is not that many across Hong Kong.
About like people who have this expertise on this, isn't it? So how do you see then there could be more suppliers who can offer these services, like from your experience running your business?
Yeah, I would definitely seeing that there will be more like vet service coming up, and then seeing that CityU is also running the vet school in Hong Kong. So we have been growing like different different new vets coming from Hong Kong schools, apart from like exporting from from schools outside Hong Kong. So I will see that eventually there will be more vets and more vet service in the Hong Kong.
What about pet travel services? Do you think this is in like increasing demand from what you've seen in your platform?
For Hong Kong, I think it's still also is more people are thinking about that, but due to cost and also due to like some of the pets are actually not willing to travel because they are for most of the cats they're actually staying home. And then for dogs, also not every dog is actually can like they're happy.
Airplane.
Yeah, that's right. So I think even though there's an increasing trend for pet travel, it won't be the mass group. But looking into other like Asia regions, like for example, like Thailand, like Japan, and also even for Thailand, there are so many people talking about like travel within the region because they will be driving their pets, looking for different like thinking about like holiday plans. They will be traveling together with their pets. But for Hong Kong, you can see that there is more like an outing excursion. So people are taking their pets on an island excursion. But if for traveling, there's an increasing number, but it won't be the mass.
It's kind of like premier services as well due to the high costs. Talking about different kind of markets in Asia Pacific, because I've seen some reports like Euromonitor.com. It said that Hong Kong has the highest per capita spending in pets among all its peers in the Asia Pacific regions. Do you think this is true? And what is your thought on this? Why Hong Kongers seems to be willing to spend more on their pets?
Yeah, so I think across Asia, what I'm seeing is the pet humanization and premiumization. So basically, people, what I also shared is that they're treating their pets like family members. And across Asia, in particular for Singapore and Hong Kong, so people are getting more aware and educated about like what's to bring to the pet, what's the best for their pets in terms of their healthcare and also lifestyle.
You mean there's increased education on it as well, so we can offer different kinds of services for our pets as well, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. So they're thinking about like, if people are thinking about like they are willing to invest more money and on better food, better quality, and better service for their pets.
All right. Yeah. So do you think Hong Kong could also position itself more on the premier services in comparison with other regions? For example, Taiwan, South Korea, Japan, Singapore even.
Okay, I would see that actually the Asia trend is quite similar. So I won't say Hong Kong will like outtake other like Asia regions, but then in general, it will be people are thinking more about high-end pet food, pet snacks as well, because the food market is actually growing so much, and then people are actually willing to spend a lot more on their on food. And on top of that, supplement business is a thing because in like maybe a few years back then, you won't be talking about like putting supplement on top of your daily feeding for pets. But now there are a lot of like pet owners, they are feeding them like different type of supplement, joint supplement, hair supplement, all these things are on top. And this is a kind of a luxury type of pet food market as well.
That's also more into the more detailed care services as well. All right, and tell us about the composition in the pet markets as well. For example, there's pet products, and then there's also the pet care services. What are the main segments in this market?
I think the core remains to be the pet food market. The variety is actually growing. From traditionally, you can see that there's kibbles, there's dry food, wet food, and now there are also new brands coming in like raw meat, and then also they're talking about like supplements, all these type of things there. I think the variety is increasing on that part. And then in terms of like pet care services, I think there are also different type of pet care services coming up. Like people might be more willing to take their pets going to swim because they are talking about about, like, oh, it's actually better for their joint as well. So there are a lot of different type of services that you never really thought about like taking your pets there, but now you're treating them like kids, from like baby to elderly journey. There's so many different type of pet service available.
It's really about the humanization of the pets, and now we've also seen those kind of like physiotherapy sessions for the pets. Like it's quite, but also tell us about the spending on it. How much would it cost to for one person to have pets? For example, for cats, for dogs, what are the, maybe, is there any estimates about the average range every month or every year?
Yeah. So in general, on our platform, it shows that actually the spending for dog owners is slightly more than cat owners. And then about 42% of dog owners is spending on average 1,000 to 3,000 Hong Kong dollars a month, versus for cat is about 40%. So it's a little bit less for cats. And in general, there are 19% of dog owners are spending over 3,000 Hong Kong dollars per month, versus for cat is only about 13%.
All right, speaking of your platform, how would you market your brand as well to stand out compared with your competitors? For example, there are different kind of like pet information services platform in Hong Kong. And how would you attract more customers then?
So we value our users. So we provide very high quality engagement, and also we work very closely with them. Pet agent is something that is a core too, because we incentivize these pet agents to share their experience, just like me, because I'm not really social active, to be honest. But there must be somebody doing this, and for new pet owners to consume all these type of information. So we incentivize all these pet agents to experience and also to try out different things, and it will be beneficial and circulate around the pet community as well. And then we've also been launching our pet loyalty program points, which gamify the whole process, because we want to make the community fun. So people actually interact, play different games, and then earn points, and they can also reward by getting different type of online vouchers. And also, most of all, we will be also working with like charities to do donation. So there are a lot of things, there are interactions that we are trying to do. And then we have been also working very closely with different pet merchants, because we are trying to work with them and try to build a community, and these connection and circle is actually a core to grow our business.
So closer engagement, and also maybe more creative campaigns as well. Okay, and what is your plan next then to further expand your business? Do you have more, for example, the fundraising ideas, or how would you plan to grow your business in the coming year?
So we have been in Hong Kong for 2 years. So looking into Hong Kong market is definitely not enough for us. So we have already been expanding into Taiwan this year. So we're working on regional expansion, because we see that Taiwan market is actually 5 times bigger than in Hong Kong. And the people in Taiwan is actually a little bit different from Hong Kong. They're not just talking about pet-friendly locations and stuff. They're really talking about the next level, the experience and connection with your pets as well. So we are trying to step one to another region to learn more and take our experience from Hong Kong to another region to expand our scope here.
All right, so expanding the market size as well, your market size as well. Last but not least, can you just tell me, because I know before running this business, you actually have very high paid job in the financial industry as well. You have over $1 million annual salary, and then you give up those stable jobs and now into those kind of entrepreneurship. Did you ever regret of making this decision? And what do you think? How would you envision yourself in the next 5 to 10 years?
It's everybody asks me about this, whether I will go back to like a corporate world or a paid job or something. I think you have to believe in yourself. You cannot, every day, if you're doubting what you're doing, so people won't believe what you're doing. So as an entrepreneur, I think every day you have to be very passionate about what you're trying to shape and what you're trying to build. And you never build it alone. You have to build with a team. You have to influence people and people. So you have to convince yourself and believe in yourself first. If every day I keep thinking about doing something else, then why not just stopping and just do it? Just do what you are trying to do and chase your dream. So I think you really have to be very, very passionate, and then convincing yourself and everybody around you.
So you very much enjoy your journey for now.
Yeah, that's right.
Thank you very much for your thoughts, Joy. That's Jolie, the founder of Pethood, a one-stop pet information platform. We'll be back next Sunday night. So until the next time, please take care.